Salom Bacha, que no arrancó. Salom Bacha and Josh Omadid. Welcome to this stream of Las Plumas de Simur. My name is Plumas and I'm going to be the host for today's live stream. One of my favorites so far, and we haven't done it yet, but I know it's going to be my favorite because I really loved preparing everything. Salom Serapis, how are you? You working still? You working late today? What time is it there? Because time zones, it's something I really cannot fathom. Doesn't matter how much energy or effort I put into it, they don't work in my head. Salom, my dear Vizier, subscribing yet again, 38. That is 38. 38 months subscribed and supporting this channel. Thank you so much, nosotros. We go nowhere without you, like literally nowhere. And how is everyone? I am beyond excited because it's pouring outside, as in the sky just broke, and rain is coming down in such a heavy manner. It's like a cape over the sea, and it's beautiful to contemplate from the window. And I have my tea just here prepared, and it's so warm and cozy, while outside it's, I don't want to say gloomy, because it really, this weather really enhances my senses. I felt very comfortable in this weather, but I mean, forgive me if my brain is a little bit splattered today, like scattered around, because I just came literally 2 hours ago. I was on a plane. I stepped down the plane, I threw my suitcase somewhere, and I said, hold on, today's a day. Team Cow is having their day, because you Bachar deserve it. Yes, finally autumn is here, and it is my favorite season. I know it might seem a little bit, like obvious to say, but it is indeed my favorite season, the spooky season. I mean, I'm wearing my Pumpkin King t-shirt, and also I am wearing my ghost socks, which I'm not going to show you, but they're there, and because spooky season is the best season. I'm not a big fan of the spooky itself, like I do not enjoy horror content so much. However, there's something that attracts me tremendously from horror as an experience, sociologically, from the social point of view. It is interesting. Yet today there's not going to be horror. Today there's going to be wonder, beauty, because we are going to speak finally about cows. I love speaking about mythology. I love cows. You don't have a word in this in English, or do you? Let me know if you do. But I love animals in any shape or form. Also insects, because sometimes, how people ask for that nuance, like, do you like all animals? What about insects? I like insects as well, not all of them, but I'm pretty much solid animal lover, because humans have been hoarding the attention for so long that I am well overdone with them. I just cannot. I'm Team Cow all the way. That is the way. If there are ghost socks, then we won't see them, because they're ghosts. Oh my goodness, Ross. Oh my goodness. Ah! No. That was terrible. That was factually terrible. Oh god, how do I unread something? What was I saying? Oh yeah, I really like animals, because the most part of the historical discourse is already hoarded by humans, is really human-centered, if you know what I mean. Salam Typhoon, we're gonna speak about cows. And if you've been here for a while, you know that in my thesis, I talked about a bird, which is Simurg, and dragons and other animals. I mean, that was like the first thing I wanted to do is, what is that? One of my students quote one of your videos about Xerxes. Pero que tú me dices, how? How did that happen? I'm so excited, thank you. Please extend my appreciation towards them. That is a very big compliment, Serapis. I am very flattered. Honestly, I am like super flattered. But yeah, I to get back on on the thread I was talking about, I believe that humans occupy an excessive part of all the historical, archaeological discourses, Salam Eric, and art historical. And this is not a bad thing if there's always a subtlety. This is not a bad thing as much as we acknowledge that human beings do not exist on their own, meaning that they take from their surroundings to survive and to be able to reach those stages in which creation is possible. And I'm talking about artistic creation, historical creation. And what we should acknowledge around humans is landscape, of course, the animal kingdom, the vegetal kingdom, plants, exactly. And all the elements that are so fundamental to the, you know what's coming, narrative, self-defining narrative. Fundamental because they shape the way societies and cultures think. Not in vain, cows and cattle have such an important role to play in the Iranian plateau and its mythology. Stay with me, we're going to talk about that. And I say, are you ready? Because I think, ready to start. What is that service? I teach classic and medieval history, so one of my students chose the Achaemenid Empire as a topic for his essay. Yes! Yes, a que me lo como. That is, oh my god, I'm so excited to learn about this person. If they ever come to the stream, please tell them to say hello, because I am always happy to welcome you guys. Oh, that is so exciting. Students are the best. I'm a very firm believer that that we should take care of our younger generations and our students, and just make sure they have everything they require, because as much as we progress, there's more and more things available, and that can be a little bit overwhelming at first, but with good mentors, with good people around them to take care of them as they are developing the tools to be, professionals themselves one day. I am all for students. I really like it. And I miss teaching. That's the reason why I did the academic course, because I really missed this relationship teacher-student. I loved it. Now he's a fan. He also discovered the podcast, So You Think You Can Rule Persia, in Diddy. Oh my god, that podcast. It is incredible. I'm not up to date because I am currently listening to the episodes from summer, but I'm going to catch up. I'm going to catch up soon. So, what do you say, Lucía? Do you want to see cows? Do you want to see... Oh my god, I can't hold it any longer, dear Butcha. It has been a minute since we last spoke about Avestan mythology. Or since we spoke about mythology at its finest, any mythology that is not the Book of Kings, because you know how I base my entire personality and this channel in this book. And I realized I rarely talk about the wonders contained in the Avestan text. So today, as a demonstration of my love for all those bovine lovers out there, let us talk about the two first creators, the two entities that first came to be, according to the Mazda-Yasna, which you may know as Zoroastrianism or Mazdaism. We're going to use them as synonyms, although there's subtleties to it, there's details to it, but I don't want to overcomplicate this stream. Please welcome today the true and fantastic Gayōmart and his loyal companion, the Primordial Cow. Team Cow, my beloved Team Cow, this one is for you. Although I am the first one cheating, because if I were to choose a single team to join, I am definitely Team Ibex, but because there's a reason. But Team Cow follows so closely, as in like super close. And feast your eyes with the wonders of archaeological artifacts that I'm bringing today. This little cow over here is part of the foundings at the archaeological site of Marlik, and this one is dated circa the first millennium before Common Era. You know how this goes, century above, century below, we don't know for sure. But today we will not be focusing on the artifacts. I brought it because I wanted you to see how bovines had been a fundamental part of the art and mythology and folklore of the Iranian plateau from like a while back. It's not just the Avestan text, it is it goes way back to than that. So we can do another stream if you like about Marlik and its artifacts, but we're gonna see a lot of these, and allow me to educate yourselves as I was educated on the Spanish version of this stream. This is a humped bull, a humped cow, a humped ox, also known as camel cow, which is fun. But we found out that the actual proper name of it is I don't know how to pronounce it in English. I'm gonna search it, but in Spanish it's cebú. Google how to pronounce cebú. Zebu. Seriously, like the animal's pronounced like that? Zebu. Okay, so we discovered that the proper name for this beautiful animal, the humped cow, is Zebu. I feel like, you know, have you watched WALL-E, the Disney Pixar film? I feel a wee bit like WALL-E when saying those words, Zebu, WALL-E. So this is called a Zebu. As a Spanish speaker, it's always beautiful, fun, challenging, and amusing learning how to pronounce certain words that you for sure have read but never dared to pronounce. Like, it's never occurred to you that these words had a specific way of coming to life after one has pronounced them. Anywho, it is indeed. I mean, you're not wrong there. But first, let us introduce, first and foremost, the context. Because we have to understand where and when in order to comprehend better why. We're going to be talking about Avestan texts, certainly. But if you are a bit familiar with the Avestan text, you would know that there's a list, like a considerably long list of titles under this umbrella. In other words, there is multiple sources comprised under this large umbrella that we call Avestan text. By the way, should you be interested in consulting these sources yourself, there is a page I adore. I pilgrimage there often, very often. سلام دیگر خوبی. Oh, thank you for coming just to say hello. We missed you and I hope you have a very wonderful evening. So see you later. خداحافظ. I adore this page. It's called avesta.org. There is an entire corpus of text digitized and uploaded there, and you have them in English, Young, and Old Avestan. The page is entirely free to use, so be sure to check that one out if you are interested. And although you're going to hear me mention multiple sources, we will be focusing in two that provide more information about Gayōmart and the Primordial Cow. The first one is called the Bundahizen, and I have it on my list of potential topics because, hear me out, few books. Oh, allow me to take a sip. I've been talking a lot during these past days. That's why my voice is a little bit not at its best, because you know one thing about me is that do enjoy speaking, and I'm quite verbose myself. Not so much in English, thanks to Jin, but in Spanish, there is no way of shutting me up. It is a thing. I was talking about the Bundaheisen because I want you, Butcha, to know about this book. You have to know this creature exists. Few books as interesting have ever been written, and that is a huge statement. As in ever, I mean it, ever in history. The Bundaheisen is a Pahlavi account about the primal creation. Let's see another little cow. Oh, this is the Lakma one. There's one at the Los Angeles Museum. I like this one because it has a handle on it, so you can like pick it up. And these, by the way, all of these are vessels, ceramic vessels. And in fact, I'm going to go back to the previous one. These particularly, the one that has an opening from the forehead to the muscle of the animal. This is called in Greek an askos. Askos is a little vessel that typically was used to store liquids such as oil. Not necessarily for illumination or for cooking, rather also for good perfume, you know, like these aromatic oils or ointments. And I think it's adorable because you would pick the little bowl from the hump or from the back, and you will pour the content via the opening on the muscle, which I haven't had the chance to have these on my hands, but I am assuming that the way you refill them is also from this opening at the front of the animal's face. But yeah, why is it that I'm using the Greek word for this, the askos? It's because in like mostly in ceramics, but we have few words for ancient artifacts in Iran. This does not mean they didn't exist. Of course, they were called somehow. Yet, typically in our history, Greek language or Greek vocabulary is the one chosen to speak about ceramics. I don't know why, honestly, I just don't know. But there's things like kilix, rithon, askos. They've been installed, and they're the general vocab being discussed when dealing with ceramics. And I wanted you to know in case you were curious, because I know there's a lot of ceramic lovers out there. Me particularly, I love these, but not the biggest connoisseur, not the smartest about ceramics, if I had to be completely honest. Let's to Lakma Cow. This one's so fun though. Look at these. What do you think? Do you see the little button, I want to say? Do you see the little button underneath the horn? Is that an earring or is that an eye? Because we'll call it cowdorans. No! So do you see, allow me to zoom these in because for some reason, I don't know why, I can't zoom this one in. I can't remember, but I cannot zoom it. I don't know what's happening with Streamlabs. I was able to do this before. But the thing underneath the horn, I thought it was the eye. And it was funny enough. But then I realized upon closer observation that underneath, between the horns, just in the middle part, there's two incisions, round incisions that want to be the eyes, I think. Therefore, my following question must be, what is then this button, and what is then the line that has, you know, the I don't want to say protuberance, but the this line that goes like that covers the whole neck and goes downwards, that has a volumetry of itself. What is that? Is that a... It could be like reins. I mean, that's a good point. Because of course this is representing domestic cattle. These are not wild animals. No, definitely not. But it is cute. But what is the thing that's hanging? It could be a rein. That is a good point. Because then you have the handle and everything to like pick it up. But it could also be like an adornment like an ornament, because we know for a fact these animals used to have earrings and such. We will see them in a moment. But what do you think it is? I have to make an effort to not see the circle, the button as the eye, but just, yeah, I mean, allow me to. I regard. Oh God, no. We were talking about the Bundahizen. The Bundahizen is a Pahlavi account for the Primo creation. Hi, Salam, Octavo Historiador, how are you doing? And these texts developed through different stages and reductions, with parts being added at different moments in history. Based on references to the Arab conquest that happened, by the way, between the 633 and 651, more or less, the Mary Boyce, which was unfortunately a brilliant scholar about Avestan texts and Zoroastrianism. I do encourage you to read her books. She found these references to the Arab conquest in the remaining manuscripts of the Bundahizen, and she proposed a date between the Arabs' arrival, meaning the middle of the 7th century, and 1178. That is a lot. That is a considerable amount of years, centuries. But unfortunately for those date lovers, it is impossible to date when the first compilation of the book ever occurred. Completely impossible. The Bundahizen compiled the scattered teaching of the Avestan cosmology, presumably by an author who lived towards the end of the Sasanian period, meaning like the very last century, like the last 100 years between 550 and 650, more or less. This anonymous author, gave the cosmologic content a structure and an order, because it was just, before that, it was all verbally transmitted, because encyclopedias, books, compilations are quite a modern phenomenon, quote unquote. But before that, it's not that this knowledge did not exist. It did exist, but the containers were not books, were humans, human memory, human culture, as it was. And the fact that we do not have, well, first of all, we don't preserve any manuscript dating from the time it was composed. That's one. There might have been there, but didn't get to our days. And please do not think that because a book did not exist until a certain time, the knowledge contained in said book was created as the book was being written. That is a very big mistake. No, the knowledge was there. What the author of the Bundahizen did was creating a sort of an encyclopedia himself. There exists at least two versions of the text, of course. We have the Bundahizen itself, also known as the Iranian Bundahizen, and then we have the Greater Bundahizen, or the Indian Bundahizen, because this is considered the most complete recension. For today, we will be working with the Iranian Bundahizen. Then we have another book, another favorite of mine, and you guessed it, is another book to dedicate a whole live stream to it, because it is pure gold. I am talking about the selections of Zodspram, and I'm going to attempt to pronounce it again in the original Pahlavi. Bizidagiha, e Zodspram. The selections from this moment onwards. So Zodspram, who was this person? He was a scholar who lived in the 9th century, and traditional stories point at him as a descendant of a Mobad, or high priest in Zoroastrianism, who worked for the Sasanian king Shapur II. If you are not familiar with this king, he reigned between the 309 and 379. And this would have been the ancestor of Zodspram. Then Zodspram himself is the author of various works which are unfortunately not preserved to our days. But we have the selections, and that is something to be rejoiced about because the selections are fantastic. Do you want to see another cow? I want to see another cow. So, see this one is among the ascos that have earrings, and I think it's the most adorable thing ever. It's so cute. It is so cute. That Sasanian king was hated by the Byzantines. Fake news. I know what you're talking about, Bess. Adorable. His crown. Adorable. His hair. Adorable. His foreign policy towards the Byzantine Empire. Adorable. Poor Shapur II. Cut him some slack. He was going through things. I'm lying. He was a character. He was indeed a character. Anyhow, the selections of Zatspram and their content are described by some scholars as a compilation that's mostly based in the Bundeheisen, since they also intend to explain the three moments, which are the three periods dividing time in Zoroastrian religion. Nevertheless, all the authors consider a better division of the text being in 4 parts instead of 3 of these 3 moments. I think it would be better in 4 because the text speaks about the following in the following order: cosmology first, then we move on to the miraculous life of Zarathustra, Zoroaster. The 3 of them are correct, don't worry. Zarathustra is the modern Persian version. Zarathustra would be like the old Persian version. And then we have Zoroaster, which is the Greek version. Not keen particularly, but you know, if you are on the Unani team, follow your dreams. Who am I to judge? So the selections of Zatspram would talk about cosmology, the life of Zarathustra, then the types of priests, and finally the human composition and eschatological matters. That is, what happens to us once we depart, once we pay the check, as a friend of mine says, once we pay the check and leave the restaurant. All right, so we have our text and the historical context, and I think it's important for you to know when these books were created because, as you can imagine, this tradition that was mostly orally transmitted has changed a lot throughout the years, the centuries, and millennium. Yet there is some elements that remain, and the importance of this is that despite the text being composed or written in the Sasanian times, perhaps even later, we're talking about the 12th century, despite that, the importance of the mythological discourse remains, and we are containing a knowledge that was transmitted for millennia, that's one, and we can be a little bit closer to understand how the cosmological thought was created and understood back in pre-Sasanian times, perhaps even in Achaemenid times. So I think it is magnificent. We're going to first talk about, where is he? There you go. We're going to talk about Gayōmart. And this is a seal. It's so tiny, and I hope Twitch does not censor me or like be angry at me because you know, I think it was Eric or No Soy Ros who mentioned that he was carrying a baton and at his back. That's the reason why he looks like that. But we were going to talk about Gayōmart. Gayōmart, I love him dearly. I mean, he's among my favorite creatures ever. It's like a stick. Yeah, like Son Goku, exactly. Like a very powerful stuff. Gayōmart is the first creation ever made. The first man, and represents the beginning of existence. There is another character who is called Sao Xiant, who represents the end of history, but we can talk about them in some other time. What do you think? This is the first interesting fact, however, about Gayōmart and how much his myth varied and was a result of its time. Let's speak about time and order. Time in the Mazdayasna does not have a beginning or an end, or at least it does not have those during the centuries of the doctrine. The earliest Mazdayasna conceived the universe as cyclical, as a circle. The concept of time itself blurred into a round motion where order and chaos, life and death interacted and alternated. However, and due to the strong influence of monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the perception of time in Zoroastrianism swift and morphed into a linear conception. And like all things linear, it has an end, thus it has a beginning. Is this detrimental though? It was Eric, right? It's a quarter stuff for sure. It was Eric. Yeah. It was Eric. Is this detrimental for the religion? No, this is in fact the proof that the cult, the belief is very much alive, that it varies and morphs and transforms over time and changes. Because Zoroastrianism is a religion that still is practiced in India mostly, although this community is scattered throughout the world. And this is not the religion, I want to be so adamant about this. This is not the religion losing any kind of purity. Please discard those ideas, expel those ideas from your mind. The Zoroastrianism losing its cyclical conception of time towards a more linear concept of time with a beginning and end, it's not the religion losing anything. It's just the religion adapting to its times, because the same way Zoroastrianism was heavily influenced by Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, it happened the other way around, and Mazdayasna strongly influenced Judaism, Christianity, and Islam centuries ago. It is how natural things work. It's how life and history works. The cycle of influences is perpetual and constant, and we should be very careful to judge from, honestly, I don't know what. I mean, I was going to give it an adjective, but I cannot find one that accommodates my thought. We should not judge these changes as something losing any kind of purity or losing its essence. If anything, it is adapting the essence to a community of people that are maintaining the religion and thus require something different, because perhaps the religious discourse is not doing it for them anymore. So they need to, change it, adapt it. The word is adaptation. And of course, the Zoroastrianism that is practiced today, 2023, it has things in common with the Mazdayasna practice back in the 4th century before Common Era. But there's a lot of things that had been lost in the way. Lost, modified, changed, created anew. Same with Islam, Zoroastrianism, same with Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, and a myriad of other religions that persist to today. I just wanted to say that because I've had this conversation with other people, and sometimes they see the latest Zoroastrianism as worse, quote unquote, as worse than the original Zoroastrianism that is the good one. But allow me to digress even a bit more. As historian in me speaking, there is not such thing as better or worse. History and the historical discourse is not a competition. Art history is not a competition. Archaeology is not a competition. True, we would be more inclined towards one or other because that's personal preference. I am absolutely biased. You know that. For example, I prefer the Achaemenids over the Sasanians. Why? Because I do. There's no problem. The same way I prefer The Nightmare Before Christmas before, I don't know, Lilo and Stitch. I love those movies, both, profoundly. However, if given the choice, I would watch The Nightmare Before Christmas. And then some of the time, Lilo and Stitch. But that's the same with, do not confuse, especially those younger people out there, do not confuse personal preference with a stage of comparison between, like, oh, I like these, therefore it must be better. No, and we should love every moment of a religion or an artistic movement. Every single moment gives so much about the time it was conceived. And that happens with the Sasanian and post-Arab conquest Zoroastrianism. So interesting though. Going to go back to Gayōmart. Gayōmart is from very early in the Avestan sources paired up with the Primordial Cow. And we will talk about her in a minute. But you should know that they are, by definition, inseparable. Their deaths combined allowed humanity and the vegetal world to exist after all. The name Gayōmart appears to mean in younger Avestan the combination of Gaïta, Gaia, life, and Mareton, mortal or human. Thus, Gayōmart would literally mean the mortal life or the mortal human. We were discussing this last session, and Gaia or Gaia, it appears to come from the Greek word Gaia, who is this, I'm gonna say goddess, but I'm not sure if she's a goddess or a titanite or like I don't know. Apologies, my expertise is not in Greek mythology. Bear with. The earliest sources where we find him, Gayōmart, are the Yashts. These are hymns written for the deities, and yes, I'm talking about the Yazatas here. Hymns written for them, for the deities that sometimes tell a story about some deeds, about how the world came to be. And these recitations mention Gayōmart not only as the first man ever to exist, but also the first to accept the teachings of Ahura Mazda and the ancestor of all people living in Arya. If you are not familiar with that name, allow me to add that Arya is the name in ancient Persian that the Iranians gave to themselves. So now you know that the true original Aryans were the people living in the Iranian plateau. Do with that what you may, food for thought. Gayōmart is listed as the sixth creation of Ahura Mazda. The order would have been as follows. First, the sky. Second, the water. Third, the earth. Fourth, the tree. In capital letter, the tree, just one. Fifth, the primordial cow came to be. And finally, sixth, our friend Gayōmart. Allow me to read the two passages for you, and note that since these are Pahlavi texts, Ahura Mazda is referred to as Ormaz, and the land. Are you here now, Vito? Are you in the background? And so Ahura Mazda is referred to as Ormaz, and the land in which this happens is named Eranvej. Eranvej was also known as Airionem Baeja in Avestan. This is the mythical homeland of the Iranians, the place where Zarathustra received the teachings from Ahura Mazda. I'm going to read you the passages from the Bundahisan, and I quote, "Fifthly, he created the soul-created Gov. Gov means cow, in Eranvej, in the middle of the earth, on the shore of the river Behdaitia, that is, the middle of the earth. She was white and shining like the moon, and her height was 3 reeds of average length. He produced the water and the tree for her help, for she had strength and growth from these in the mingled state. Sixthly, he created Gayōmart, shining as the sun. His height was 4 reeds of average length. His width was symmetrical as the height. He was on the shore of the river Daitia, that is, the middle of the earth. Gayōmart was on the left side, the Gav was on the right side. Their distance from each other, their distance too from the water Daitia, was as much as their own height. He was possessed of eyes, ears, tongue, and mark. Gayōmart's possession of the mark was that these... I'm sorry, that is raining so strongly. Wow! That is some heavy rain. I know. I'm sorry, the jinn came to tell me. Are you seeing? My goodness, madre mia. That is a lot of water. Okay, but so it's official. The second float is coming. I am pairing up with Enlil for this one. Who are you? Whose team are you joining? I know. Where was I? Oh yeah, sorry. I continue quoting. Gayōmart's possession of the mark was these that mankind were born of his seed, in his semblance. He produced for his help repose given sleep. For Ormas created forth the sleep in the astral form of a tall man, 15 years of age and radiant. He created Gayōmart with the Goth cow out of the earth. He created forth the sperms of men and animals out of the light and verdure of the sky. As these two sperms are of the principle of fire, not of the principle of water, he produced them in the material body of the Goth, the cow, and Gayōmart, so that the complete propagation of men and animals arose therefrom. I told you, end of quote. This book was something else. I love getting lost in his passages. Honestly, the cosmology of the Mahayana has little to nothing to envy the world settings by Tolkien, Sanderson, or George R.R. Martin. We have invented nothing but cha. And now, let's talk a bit further of the Primordial Cow. And I'm going to show you my favorite because he is wearing the most beautiful earrings ever. We called her Cow Flores, that means flowers, because of a very famous artist in Spanish folklore. Her name was Lola Flores. And she used to wear this kind of jewelry and decorations on herself, these kind of very big, chunky earrings. If you are not familiar with Lola Flores, definitely you should check her out because she is amazing. For Cow Flores, always for Cow Flores. Pew! So let's talk about her, shall we? The original name of this primordial bovine is Gove-Evdod, and its meaning is not that clear to us, at least yet. The matter deals with the gender of the animal. You may see this creature in sources referred to as a primordial ox, suggesting it must be a male. Nevertheless, the grammatical gender of the word gov in Avestan is female, thus it should be a cow and not an ox. According to the Bundahesan, however, this animal had both sperm and milk, so mythical. And sometimes some articles and readings I have consulted in the making of the script mention that Gayōmart and his beloved friend, the cow, share the condition of being hermaphrodite, since they contain the source for creating both male and female. The man and the cow have been seen under the light of a mythical, but at the same time possible human perspective. I could not expand more on this topic, but I am like for certain I will go back on it because I think it's super interesting. I have read quite a few sources, and under the light of my love for the team cow, I have decided that I will refer to the bovine as a female, this she is a cow, and Gayōmart is a boy, so he is a he. The second half of the name of Gave-Evdod means soul created or created as one, therefore the primordial cow, so break it. The same as Gayōmart's seed contained the essence to create humanity, the primordial cow's seed harbored the essence to create all animals and plants, sorry. Wow. Like, that is indeed an important role to maintain. She was responsible. She was to allow the creation of plants and animals. It blows my mind, honestly. This is a bit different because this cow was found at the archaeological site of Chogazanbil. If you don't know what that is, Chogazanbil is a ziggurat that is currently in Iran that was in the ancient land of Elam that was incorporated to the Achaemenid Empire. And this ziggurat dates from quite a while back, and the cow, more specifically, the cow is dated between 1275. Hello, salam Puria, and like 1275 and 1250 before Common Era. And this is different because it still is a zebu. It is a humped cow, but it's rendered in a much more realistic manner than the escorts. That indicates, first of all, that this was not to be a functional object. This is just a decorative creature. I've seen this in the Archaeological Museum of Tehran, and the condition is very poor. It's been greatly reconstructed, but there's not much information on it whatsoever. And that is, if you ask me, a really big shame because it's the manufacture of it. There's approach to the cow from a much more naturalistic or realistic perspective. It is very interesting compared to all the cows and all the artifacts that we have from Elam. Possibly, you know, this writhen, this silver writhen of the cow holding a vessel. So where was I? Oh yeah. Now we're gonna delve into the myth of Gayōmart and the cow and the Primordial Cow. I'm gonna tell you the story a little bit. We're gonna see how it unfolds, and bear with, because you know Iranians love a good drama. Yeah, apologies for that. When they first came to existence, the cow and Gayōmart stood on the banks of the river Daiti, a mythical river identified with the Oxus in Central Asia. There they lived together for 3,000 years. I really would love to see what they were up to, you know, just like going for a stroll down the river, eating here and there, sleeping under the stars. They loved each other. They really were close friends. Not in the fashion of Greek mythology, intercourse, love and affection between deities in the shape of animals. No. I'm talking about pure friendships. They were companions, they were friends. However, and as anticipated, the story of our two protagonists is a bittersweet one. According to the Bundahisan, Angra Mainyu, also known as Ahriman, fell upon the land just created by Ahura Mazda with the onslaught. This pollution and blight spread on the earth, and the Primordial Cow did not survive this violent attack. It is heartbreaking reading this passage. While she was agonizing, Ahura Mazda gave to the poor animal a plant named Bang to soothe the pain and suffering. Unfortunately, it was to no purpose because the cow passed away, falling to the right side. And then from the body of this cow, it emerged Goshorun. Goshorun is the spirit that was contained inside the Primordial Cow, and it escaped to the stars, then the moon, and then the sun. And there it mourned for the loss of the Primordial Cow because it was a heartbreaking situation. But not everything was horrible, because from her body and seed, life came to be. From the marrow of the cow, 55 kinds of grain and 12 kinds of medicinal plants grew. And we have some of the grains listed in the Bundahisan. There were lentils, leeks, grapes, sesame, marjoram, mustard seed. The significance of that I need to run by my good friend Aina Erice, because she is fantastic and she will for certain give me a good direction, at least to follow. And from the sperm of the Primordial Cow, purified by the moon, they were born the bull and the cow, considered the ancestors of 282 animal species. Thank you so much, Jose Rose. Is your religion a virtue? This is not my religion. I'm not Zoroastrian myself. I am just a doctor in art history explaining the myth of Gayōmart, the Western myth of Gayōmart and the Primordial Cow. But no, my religion is definitely Christianism. Let's see another artifact. This one was found in Marlik, and I like it because this one's a toy. How cute it is. I mean, you can see that underneath it, just below the horn, there is this hole in there, this orifice that would serve to pass a rope or a thread or something similar, and then make the little cow roll and just walk, quote unquote, like sort of walk on the ground. And I think is adorable. This one is super petite, it's like super, super tiny. And I just think it's fantastic, honestly. These kinds of objects give me joy, just joy, because we sometimes think of the past as something remote, distant, unknown. It is not at all like that. I mean, they were human like us. We also have toys. Did you have a cow toy while growing up? Because I definitely had multiple. I've loved animals all my life. I told you that before. So yeah, let's carry on, shall we? So yeah, the bull and the cow both are the ancestors, according to the Bundahism, of 282 species of animals. We have that passage in the Bundahism. Nice, crazy, fantastic. It is amazing. So sadly, Gayōmart had to endure life without his best friend for over 30 years. Ahriman attempted to kill him before that, sending one of the Daevas against the first man, but to no avail. Allow me the digression. The Daeva who Ahriman sent is Astvidad, and its name means he who dissolves the bones. How metal is that? How bloody cool is that? When this time of 30 years passed, Gayōmart finally passed away, this time to his left side. His body was composed of metal, according to the myth, and when he collapsed, the different metals divided and came to creation, they came to be. Then his sperm, spread into the earth, and there we have two other entities. First, we have Neryosang. Neryosang is a messenger of Ahura Mazda, and he took 2/3 of Gayōmart's seed under his protection. They will prove useful when the world ends, because he has a very close relationship with Cao Xian and the other world and all that. But a third was left on the earth. And then we have Spenta Armoiti, who you might remember from our stream about the Amesha Spenta. She is the embodiment of earth, among many other things. She kept the remaining third of the sperm, and from it, 40 years later, they came to be two beings, Masha and Mashayana, the first human couple, but not in the human form, but like this. Yeah, they came into this world in the form of rhubarb plants. Why rhubarb? I'm unsure. But yeah, there you have it. That is why the Primordial Cow and Gayōmart are so important for the creation myth, because they were the source of humanity on the one hand, and also the source of the animal kingdom, which is incredibly relevant. I don't know if I have a final creature to show you. Oh, this one's beautiful. Really like it. Puria, if you want to, are you asking Are you asking about our Discord server or Aina's? Because I think Aina's Discord server is exclusive for her patrons, those who support her on Patreon. But ours is free, has a section that is free. So if you wish to engage, absolutely, we will send you the Discord link if you want to. But definitely you should check Aina's. Aina's project is it is fantastic. Everything she does, every little thing she does is magic, but for real. Like, yes, factually. Speaking facts here. There is one thing I would like to mention before finishing today. Perhaps the name Gayōmart sounds devilishly familiar to those of you who come to the readings of the Shahnameh, of the Book of Kings. It does ring a bell, now does it? Gayōmart, Gayōmart. Have you heard this one before? Have you? Why is it so familiar? Well, because the story of Gayōmart changed entirely one day when, by the hand of Ferdowsi, he came to be the king of the mountain, the very first human to step into the well, the lord of the wilderness and the light. From Gayōmart, someone else was created. For Gayōmart is none other than Kayumars, the first king of the Pishdadian dynasty. And it does not matter the shape he chooses to be present in stories. We love him and we love our beautiful primordial cow. So there you have it. I hope you have enjoyed the session and I hope you have learned a bit more about this. Sometimes it's a little bit confusing approaching the Mazayas now without, know much about it, but with tools such as avesta.org and all the information we have available, this mythology has never been closer, let me tell you that. And personally, I hope that you now appreciate the bovine world a little bit better, because they were there. They're fundamental for so many things in the Iranian conception, and still so important that we have relevant cows in the Shahnameh. This one's for you, Barmaye, because you didn't deserve that one. I still don't understand why Ferdowsi felt the need for, what he did. But anyway, this one's for you, Barmaye. Anyhow, that's everything I have for you today. But do you have any further questions? Do you want me to expand, perhaps if I know about it, on anything else? Because, I'm just looking at the Zebu. This is so beautiful. Team Cow thanks this stream. Team Cow forever in our hearts, because Team Cow, it is the team. The team to follow, the team to pertain to. Yes, I am very happy that one day we all came together and decided that we needed a team for all of us cow lovers. It wasn't the Shahnameh readings, wasn't it? What is that, Purian? Ferdowsi poetry is taught in most of the field of Iranian university and is very good. And if it were not, we. Oh, like if it were not for the sorry, I was reading. I'm very tired. If it were not for Ferdowsi, you would be Arabic. Well, that's not entirely true. I mean, before Ferdowsi, there was this powerful movement of cultural empowering led by the person who actually is considered to be the father of modern Persian language, which is Rudaki. And that happened in the 9th century, like way before Ferdowsi was even born. And definitely Ferdowsi created one of the most, if not the most powerful tool for Iranian literature to express itself. Also, remember that every time we speak of the Shahnameh in this live stream, I tell you the same, that the Shahnameh is a product, and it's a product carefully tailored and confectionated and thought because it was responding to a clear necessity. And definitely the reaction towards the Arabic culture being imposed, because but I remember that during the medieval times, Arabic was the language of the education, of mathematics, of bureaucracy, of science. Therefore, the Iranians made effort, starting with Rudaki, to preserve their language and their culture. And it's so significant that Iranian literature, Persian literature, and Persian language influenced greatly on the art. Do not get me started on the art and the manuscript. And influenced greatly also the Arabian Peninsula and Central Asia. That's the reason why we speak about these cultural area, the Persianate, which is, it is sometimes a political, it translates to a political entity, sometimes it's just a cultural hub. But yeah, for sure, that is an important thing to take into account. And yes, we love the Shahnameh in here too, Puria. I just remembered that I have something to show you, but I don't know if I would be... Okay, so you know how there is this AIs out there creating art and you know, creating images that you can give them like one, two indications to the artificial intelligence, and then they will create something. Last week, one of my butcher, who I love dearly, our beautiful priestess, who is now absent. I know, Harana. She typed the title of this live stream, of this session, Gayōmart and the Primordial Cow. And I'm really sorry, but I have to show you what the artificial intelligence thought that the Primordial Cow and Gayōmart looked like. We're gonna go from okay to worst. This one is actually okay, given that, you know, if, like, the vegetal kingdom and the animal kingdom emerged from the Primordial Cow. I am guessing that this fella over here is Gayōmart. Maybe this one, I don't know. But the closer you look at it, the worse it gets. Because what is happening? Like, what is this kind of horrifying chimera? Like, what is even this? Or why look at that mouth. Upon closer examination, this, for example, why in Spanish for the tiene un buen lejos, it has a very good far away. This poor being, it's screaming to be sacrificed to a major deity. What is even this? Seriously, what is it? And again, the closer you look at them, the worse they are. Then we have this one, which is okay. I noticed that the AI has taken the Hindu Southeast Asian road, and that's giving a lot, but it's not that bad as a drawing itself. In fact, I really like this creature over here. Let me just zoom in. Ooh, hello there. This little friend over here, I like it. I can see how it potentially could be a mythical creature, but the rest, like, Jesus, I honestly don't know what to make of the rest. Then we have this one. And this one, at first look, you would think, oh, it's not bad. It's like okay-ish. The cow is okay. The man is okay. But the Chad one. This is the Chad version. But then, why? Honestly, why? And these over here, this chiquito de la calzada creature. Oh my goodness gracious. It is utterly disturbing. I can sense how its eyes, its sockets are piercing into the depths of my soul. This is mortifying to look at. And what, seriously, like, how dare you? How dare you do this to the poor creature in Make Zeros? And this one, sorry, this one, oh my goodness gracious. What could it possibly do, these animal, to deserve your hate? And then, of course, yeah, last but not least, we have this. I don't know. Salam, Aziz. I don't know where to start with this one. First of all, what is happening below there? Please tweet, do not censor me. But this guy over here, this fella is taking its protein powder every single morning because he's jacked, he's ripped. And for some reason, this cow over here is holding a fork. I don't know what is, like, these creature over here, it's clearly suffering. And these I can't explain. I'm really sorry. Some of the bachar suggested it could be like the cow could be giving birth to, I don't know. It's terrible. It's horrifying. But absolutely, I'm going to post this on Discord because if I am going down with this, you are coming with me, like, for certain. That yeah, I'm taking you down with me on this road. Now. It awakens so many emotions in me. None of them are positive though. None of them are emotions that I wish to feel. But that was the stream, and I think terrible. It is petrifying. But Bachar, that is everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for accompanying me to this live stream. Pleasure, and it's been definitely among my favorites because cows are just the best. And that's it. Cows are the best animals, among the best animals, because all animals are the best animals. Thank you so much for coming to today's live stream. Thank you, Naceros. I'm really happy you enjoyed it. Thank you so much to my patrons that make this possible. If you want to support our project and what we do, you can consider supporting us on Patreon. We have a page with different tiers, and yeah, there might be one that is of your interest. If not, if you want to join the conversation, we have a Discord server that's completely free to join, but you would require invitation. So if you want to come, please do not hesitate to contact me. Then we also have a Telegram channel and all that jazz, and an email address. But if you want to get in touch, thank you so much, my beautiful Bachar. Thanks to you for staying, and remember to create, to explore, and to have lots of fun. Until we see each other next time, I bid you Khodafis.